at this conference, in your presence and fellowship, at this pivotal moment in history. I truly believe that the movement that you all have birthed and are a part of is one of the most transformational social reform movements, not only in my lifetime and your lifetime, but in the history of this country, and we will not rest until we restore this nation to the principles upon which he was founded. We are here not just to hear speeches. We are here not just to listen to potential candidates who want to lead us in the future. We are here to do something far more significant, and that is to assert that what made America great was not the fact that she was founded to advance a particular ethnicity or race or nationality. We, unique among all nations in the history of human civilization, were not founded because of a church schism or because we no longer desire to be dominated by another people or nation. We were founded on an idea. And that idea was, other than the gospel, the most transformational idea in the history of the human race. It asserted this: that all men and women are created equal by God and in the eyes of God. And they are endowed by that Creator with certain inalienable and inherent rights, among which are the right to life and liberty and freedom and the pursuit of happiness. And we form a government for one reason and one reason only, and that is to protect those God-given rights. And our founders went further. They went further and asserted, and it's easy to forget how radical they were. You know, we tend to look at the powdered wigs and the beautiful finery that they wore for their formal portraits, but these were the ultimate revolutionaries. Because they went on to say in the Declaration of Independence that if that government so formed ever fails to protect those liberties or ever begins to abrogate and deny those liberties, then we have not just the right, my friends, we have the moral duty and obligation to overthrow that government by force if necessary and replace it with one that will protect our rights. So, when they tell you that you're radical, you just quote the Declaration of Independence and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington back to them, because what you know and what Washington has forgotten, frankly, to a very great extent in both political parties, is that America was not settled by a department of covered wagons operating out of the nation's capital. America was settled by God-fearing, courageous, hard-working Americans who tamed a wilderness and settled a continent with three tools: an axe, a plow, and a Bible. And that was what they used to settle this nation. Now, when I speak to conservative audiences, I do point out there's a fourth tool, and it was the gun. And we had the right to keep in their arms to protect those rights. You see, John Adams had it right when he said that our Constitution was designed for a moral and religious people only and is wholly unsuited for any other. Not because there's any kind of religious test to serve or be a citizen. We were the first nation in the history of the planet to say that there would not be one, but because the only way you can have a limited government confined to certain specific enumerated purposes, devolving all other power back to states and communities and to local individuals, is when people do the right thing because they're animated by a desire to do right by their fellow men and women, not because they are forced to do so by an overarching government out of the nation's capital. That's why our founding documents forbade a national police force and a standing army. Because we didn't want to have a soldier on every street corner telling us what to do. And this idea that liberty and freedom is the birthright, not just of every American, but of every single human being all over the world, has echoed from Lexington and Concord to Tiananmen Square to now Cairo and the Arab Spring. And people are going to be free all over this planet because we had the courage to fight for their rights as well as our own. And so the Tea Party is really reasserting this founding idea. And the founding ideals that made America great, that an ever-expanding and ever-encroaching government ultimately and by necessity, Reagan said, as if through a law of physics, restricts our freedom. As government expands, liberty contracts. There's no way around it. And we are going to continue to fight. In the precincts and the neighborhoods, at the ballot boxes, in the halls of Congress and state legislatures, down to local county commissions, city councils, and school boards to say that we want a government that does nothing more, not one thing more, than it is explicitly authorized to do by the Constitution of the United States. Now, the political establishment has reacted to this with abject horror. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but they've been calling you names. They've said that you're evil. They compared you to the Nazis. They accused you of racism. And they have suggested that you were fomenting and encouraging violence in word or deed. Well, I've got news for the punditocracy and for the press and the cognoscenti and the opinion elites who look down their noses at you and tell lies about you and engage in the most unspeakable smears of this movement. It is this: our right to speak out and to organize and to petition our government has been purchased by the blood of those who bore the ultimate burden and paid the ultimate price, and whose graves dot battlefields on continents all over the world, from Yorktown to Incheon to Da Nang to Verdun and now Baghdad and Kabul. And they look down upon us, as the Apostle Paul said, as celestial witnesses urging us on. We will not let them down. We will not allow their sacrifice to be in vain. We will not be quiet. We will not be silent. We will not be intimidated. And we are not going to go away. We are here. Establishment was throwing rose petals at Barack Obama, and his job approval was 71%. People like you poured out into the streets and at state capitals, organized initially on social media forums, people working at their kitchen tables, and said, you know what, everybody else has counted us out. Everybody else has said that government is the solution and the answer. And we're just going to have to keep giving up more of our freedom so that government can solve the problem. And you went out there and changed Warzone with Chris Christie. Which a state they said was gone for our message. We replaced big spending Ted Strickland with freedom-loving John Kasich. And in the fourth largest state in America, the Sunshine State, we replaced Charlie Crist with Rick Scott. I don't know about you, but I think that was a pretty good training. And Scott Walker in Wisconsin became the new governor who's standing. Said they shared your objectives, values, and public policy goals. And look, I know that when people go to Washington, sometimes their IQ drops 20 points. And some, by the way, have more to spare than others. But my message to the Republican leadership in Washington is if you turn your back on the Tea Party movement and the principles it is forwarding, you will consign yourself to permanent minority status. I thought you might agree with that. You know, Ronald Reagan once said the closest thing to eternal life on this planet was a federal program. But there's a whole lot of change in the world because of you. And after we get done extending the Bush-era tax cuts permanently, not just for 2 years, but permanently, and after we get done repealing the unspent portion of the failed stimulus plan, we're going to take on Obamacare and we're going to defund it, we're going to prescribe it, we're going to restrict it, we're going to repeal it, we're going to replace it,
yes,
we're going to end it,
yes,
we're going to take it out on the lawn of the Capitol and we're going to hold a formal funeral service. We're going to leave this thing on the ash sheet of history of the most failed and discredited monstrosity ever foisted upon the American people, and it will be gone. Now, my time's about up, and I want to respect the program, so I just want to close real quickly by telling you something. As a friend, I've seen this movie before. I was there in '94 when we picked up 53 House seats and 10 Senate seats, and everybody said Clinton was done. He wasn't. This guy's going to have $1 billion in Air Force One and every special interest in this country. We are not done yet. We got a big job in 2012. I'm going to be doing a breakout session at 11:30 to talk about the 4 keys for victory in 2012. I want you to come to that if you can. I'm going to post it on my website later for those who can't be here. I want to close by once said, the American people always do the right thing after they have exhausted every other possibility. He knew it pretty well. Folks, we've exhausted every other possibility. We tried big government. We tried if it feels good to do it. We tried material acquisitiveness. But the only thing that satisfies the unique DNA that is in every American, that beats in the heart and gives meaning to the soul to every person in this country, is a desire to be free and a desire to become all that God intended them to be in a free nation. Let's go reclaim it. Thank you. God bless you.